Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Aini Nanda Alifkha. My student ID number 204001 22004. In this video, I will explain about phonetics, a direction to the articulation of suprasegmental sound. In this section deals with the discussion of phonetics in terms of suprasegmental sound. Suprasegmental sound describe other types of sound which occur when segmental sounds works together in language. Some linguists name this sound as the rhythm of language, which consists of stress and intonation. First is suprasegmental sound in Indonesian learners of English context. In Indonesian context, many learners of English are of the opinion that having good English means memorizing many vocabularies, knowing many grammar rules, as well as speaking fluently. This opinion has made the learners to put priority to learn grammar and to memorize as many words and everyday phrases as possible. Andy K. and Arafa B. 2017 assert that if the student don't have good pronunciation, people will consequently have serious problems of understanding that they say, even if they use correct grammar and a large number of vocabulary. In order to have natural and correct pronunciation, the learners need to know, first is have knowledge of making correct sound of both consonant and vowels, and then know how to pronounce word correctly with special attention to stress, and last is make correct intonation, the use of rising and falling tones when constructing different types of sentences. Number 2 is suprasegmental sound in introducing phonetics terms. Number 2 is suprasegmental sound in introducing phonetics terms. To enter into this discussion, it is necessary to explain some important phonetics term related to suprasegmental sound. This explanation will be very helpful for the learners in facilitating them to understand further discussion of this section. Okay, the first is stress. Stress is defined as an emphasis in the form of loudness given to certain syllables in English word or phrases. Stressed syllables are commonly heard strong, loud, and long. To see how stress is placed in English word, we can look up in a standard dictionary which provides IPA transcript to indicate stress. The symbol like stress is given in front of syllable, which means that the syllable must be articulated longer or louder than the other syllables. For example, the word garden is phonetically transcribed garden, in which the first syllable's ga is given the symbol's stress. It means that the syllables ga must be produced longer than the syllables done. Next is syllables. A syllable is a unit of pronunciation for words, which is typically made up of one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants. For example, the word water consists of two syllables, namely wa and ter, water. Then, how many syllables do English words have? The word in English has various kinds of syllables. There is 1 syllable, 2 syllables, 3 syllables, 4 syllables, 5 syllables, and 6 syllables. First is 1 syllable. For example, the word the, cold, bad, add, hope, clean, and much more. Next is 2 syllables. For example, in word party, special, today, today, orange, and much more. Next is 3 syllables. For example, in word fantastic, energy, like this. Next is 4 syllables. For example, in word understanding. The word understanding have 4 syllables. First is an, second is the third is stand, and the last is ing, understanding. Then next is 5 syllables. For example, in word organization, first syllables is or, second is ga or ga, the third is ni, fourth is sa, and last is shen, organization. The last one is 6 syllables. For example, in word responsibility, like this. The next is word stress. Word stress in a certain emphasis given to a unit of pronunciation or syllable in individual words, not in phrases or sentences. As an important note about placing stress that there are many 2 syllables words in English which may be articulated in 2 different ways, in which the stress place change the part of speech of the word. For example, in verb is present, to give something to someone. In noun is present is like a gift. Next is primary stress, secondary stress, and unstressed. In most literature of phonetics acoustic on English, it is generally considered that there are at least 3 levels of stress, namely primary stress and secondary stress, as well as unstressed, which are indicated by the following marks. For example, in a picture, primary stress is the strongest emphasis which is given to a syllable in a word, according to PBI-A and Counter G 2007. Primary stress is indicated by an acute accent. Secondary stress is weaker emphasis than primary stress, which is given to another syllables in a word. According to PBI-A and Counter G 2007, secondary stress is indicated by a grave accent. Then unstressed is the weakest emphasis, which is given to syllable in a word. According to PBI-A and Counter G 2007, unstressed syllables are not marked, without mark. And then the next is a place of stress. The place of stress in English word is only on the syllables of content word. Content words are defined as the words which are used to convey information and meaning about something. Then the next is empathic stress. An empathic stress is an emphasis which is given to a word or a sentence and is said usually to indicate importance, to single out, to compare, to correct, or to clarify things. According to Gabriel 2013, this kind of stress is commonly used with empathic expressions to emphasize or to intensify a speaker's strong feelings. For example, I very much doubt he ate the pizza. He has listed some of the most common emphasizers as follows: deeply is strongly with much feeling, fully is completely without any doubt, positively without any doubt, really is strongly, and sincerely with my best wishes in mind, strongly with conviction, totally without any doubt, utterly without any doubt, and then the last is very much is strongly. The next is intonation, pitch, and tone. Intonation is known as the other type of suprasegmental sound found in English. As for linguists, it is commonly described as a rising or falling pitch or pitch change over a group of words. Intonation is not used to distinguish between two English words, but is used to distinguish different types of sentences, such as statements, questions, commands, requires, and etc. Intonation has two basic patterns of height of voice in speech, namely high pitch or rising voice, or low pitch or falling voice. In other words, pitch is recognized as the voice pattern of intonation. On the other hand, tone tends to show how something is being said. It is more like an attitude rather than being a voice pattern. third is suprasegmental sound and word stress. Next is suprasegmental sound and word stress. Regarding misunderstanding in English, Peter E. 2006 claims that mistakes in word stress are a common cause of misunderstanding in English. She emphasized that word stress is very important for three reasons, namely the first, stressing the wrong syllable in a word can make the word very difficult to hear and understand. For example, try saying the following words. Second is stressing a word differently can change the meaning or type of the word. The third is even if the speaker can be understood, mistakes with word stress can make the listener feel irritated or perhaps even amused, and could prevent good communication from taking place. 3 ground rules relating to stress. First is one word can only have one stress. Then we can only stress a vowel, not consonant. And then word stress is complicated in English. Next is two syllables, nouns and adjective. The general rule: as an English word is a noun or a word used to identify a person, thing, place, or abstract quality, or an adjective or a word is a word used to give an information about a noun and has two syllables. The stress is mostly placed on the first syllables. Take a look at the following sample in the table. There are examples for nouns and adjectives, and then two syllables for verbs and prepositions. The general rules: when an English word is a verb is a word used to describe an action, occurrence, or state of being. Or preposition is a word preceding a noun, pronoun, or the ing form of a verb, and expressing a relation to another words or part of the sentence, and has two syllables. The stress is mostly about 80% put on the second syllables. Take a look at the following example in the table. There are examples for verbs and exception to a few verbs. I think that's all from me. Sorry if there are many mistakes. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.